Okay, hello, ground passers. Welcome to another full episode. Don't mind the stain. I had to have coffee and I just spilled on it. So do not mind. That is just coffee. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Anastasia. It's good to see you again. It's been a while. I don't think we've recorded together since before Canada.
Yeah, I think it was before Canada. I can't remember the last time. I've just been like all over the place between City Open, Cincinnati. I don't really know what time is, and we're sort of like so off schedule right now that I'm just like going with the flow. That's what I'm telling myself. Go with the flow till Asia.
Yeah, go with the flow to Asia and then, we can get some sleep.
Exactly.
So, yeah. Oh, my word. Well, you've been going to the US Open a fair, like, every day so far.
Yeah.
Have you been having a good time?
Yeah, it's been really fun. It's been like really great. I mean, I always love the US Open. It's been a great time. This year has been slightly dramatic, but I've been going since Fan Week. So, did the whole Fan Week thing. If you've been following us on social media, you've been following along with all of my escapades. Did Fan Week, did the mixed doubles, and I've been putting that all on Fan Week, on our social media accounts. I've done like a few kind of podcast from the grounds did kind of, I mean, it's only our second one, but now I'm calling it like our annual qualifiers roundup with Coach B from Instagram. He's from LA, but he's local to New York, so he's from New York, so he always comes back for the US Open. So we always sort of like meet up on the grounds and talk about qualifiers and like the first couple of rounds. But yeah, so it's been fun. Oh, I did something also with Black Spin Global, who are here as well covering the tournament. So it's been great. I sat down with Will Buchik, the doubles king, yesterday. So yeah, it's been fun being on the grounds and meeting up with all our internet friends in real life.
Yeah, well, I think there's more of our internet friends going along, so hopefully you'll be able to catch up with them as well. What's it been like at the Open so far from a fan's perspective? Is it as busy as it has been in previous years?
You know what? It really hasn't. It's kind of tough to explain because it's been busy, it's been packed every day, but I just remember last year being very uncomfortable. Like last year there were moments at the Open, and I think the next couple of days will be the real test. I think because we're entering into the middle weekend. Today we're recording on Friday, and Saturday starts Labor Day weekend. So Saturday, Sunday, and then Monday, everyone has off as well from work. So I think that will be the real test of if it's going to be super, super crowded. But I just remember last year, some of the days were just incredibly uncomfortable with the amount of crowds of people there. Like you're literally touching people, trying to find your way through. And I remember there were some days where I was, trying to go to Louis Armstrong, and the line to get into Louis Armstrong was like all the way from Louis Armstrong round the building to Ash. Like the line just to get into
Great.
one stadium was all the way to another. So it was incredibly difficult sometimes on the grounds. Haven't had any of that yet. So I think the real test will be this weekend to see if things have been fixed a little bit, streamlined. I definitely know getting onto the grounds has been very quick. It's been really streamlined. I know sometimes last year, because how it works is there's a train station that kind of lets you off right on this sort of boardwalk that you walk down and then takes you right to the gates of the Flushing Meadows, like the grounds of the Billie Jean King Center. And sometimes the line to get into the gates starts at the entrance of the train station. And that is incredibly long. That is incredibly long. I haven't had any of that yet. So, but then again, the test will be this weekend to see if that is going to happen again. But so far, so good. I have to say, it's been crowded, but not extreme. Yeah,
Okay, well, that's a lot more comfortable, which is what we want to hear. We want to have a good time when we go to the tennis. I'm
exactly.
hoping that this all means that they must have done some. I'm hoping this means they made the ground's a bit bigger or a bit more comfortable rather than
It's not
fewer
really bigger.
tickets being
What
sold.
what they have done is, so instead of opening an hour before play starts, they now open an hour and a half. So instead of 10,
Right.
they open at 9:30 now. So I think that has helped weirdly. It's only 30 minutes, but I think it's helped.
Because you tend to go and get tickets from the box office, don't you? Have you found
Yeah,
that sort of
sometimes
easier than last year?
Yeah, sometimes I get tickets right. I'm a last minute kind of gal sometimes, and I tend to get tickets last minute. And the reason why I do this, guys, and it doesn't always work. Like, for example, today it didn't work. I bought tickets at the resale price because it's the weekend and tickets don't drop as much as they do during the week. But for example, on Monday and Tuesday, I bought tickets below retail. So I actually bought tickets below the standard ticket price. And that's why I wait sometimes because, the resellers buy them and they jack the prices up, hundreds, thousands of dollars. And first of all, I just don't want to pay that. And I think it's unfair. And I don't understand why the USTA or whoever is in charge of selling the tickets don't do something about the resellers that are just buying up all the tickets, because they're not even giving real people the chance to buy them. They use all these bots and stuff, and they just buy up all the tickets before you even have a chance to get to them. So you don't have a chance to buy them. Then you're left with buying them from resellers who have now increased the prices. So I don't like buying them from resellers, and I just like to wait to see where the tickets land. And usually in the first part of the tournament, you can either get them at cost, or what happens is if you wait long enough, you can actually get them below cost. And that's what happened to me earlier this week. I got a few tickets below the cost of a standard ticket. So that's why I wait, guys. I don't wait just because I like to live on the edge, but I do like a good deal. So that's why I wait.
Hey, look, you've got to go to the effort to get a good deal. I think that's a good
Yeah.
advice for life. So, and it's probably what I would be doing in your situation as well. Of like, if I lived in New York and I'd be like, oh,
Yeah.
I don't want to pay that much money. I mean, I would counsel against getting anything from resellers anyway, because you just don't know enough about them sometimes. Like, you might not even find you have a US Open ticket at the end of it. That's the risk you kind of
Yeah.
run.
I mean,
So,
it is, because it's all through Ticketmaster, the official
okay.
like ticket vendor. It's all above board, so you will get your ticket. It just is, there are no limits to how high they can run. So
Right.
they can buy a ticket for $5 and then charge you $5 million. There's no sort of limit to how far they can mark it up.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, which is a problem the US Open has. I'm not aware of other Grand Slams having the same level of problem. Like Wimbledon definitely doesn't because it's all fixed.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's the one thing that frustrates me in hearing about getting US Open tickets, especially since as you've said previously, like US Open tickets sell out like officially on site the day they come out, pretty much. So
An hour within the moment they drop, they're sold out. It's crazy.
yeah,
And it's not because real people have gotten them, it's because resellers have bought them.
it's just it's not an ideal situation for fans because you want to go and let's face it, if you've been going to the US Open, it's you aren't haven't been short of drama in one way or another, good or bad. Like you've got the extremes of like I think I've seen multiple 5 set matches in the men's side happening all these few days, and then you've got people kind of making up like just adding to it. And I guess we've had like I've got 3 instances of people taking
Yeah.
things too far.
Yeah.
Now, you did a really, really good match story slash summary, depending on where you get it, on what happened with Daniel Medvedev on day one.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So I think unless you want have anything else to say on that, we can tell people to go and check that out. You did a match stories on, was it just YouTube it was out on, and a little bit on Instagram, what happened with Taylor
Uh,
Townsend
yeah.
and
So
Jelena
yeah. So the
Ostapenko.
the right, the Daniil Medvedev one, I kind of did it into sort of like a round one wrap up because I wanted to do it right away, but again, it's like it's so tough. Like I'm on the grounds most days, and then you come back late, and I just couldn't record and then edit and then do all the stuff. So the Daniil Medvedev one, I kind of wrapped it up into sort of like a round one wrap up because then I added the Alex Ayala's story. So that one's on YouTube and on our podcast streams, and I'll leave the links and everything below. You can check that out. Of course, there was the sort of Taylor Townsend, Jelena Ostapenko palava, and that one is only on YouTube right now. And also, I did like a sort of a short explainer that is on our Instagram, TikTok, like sort of short form video, and also on our YouTube shorts as well that you can check out. And, I think the long and short of it is that sort of every single day of this US Open, there has just been drama. I do not know what it is about US Open 2025, but there's something in the water, and whatever they're drinking, it's a little bit too much. I don't know what it's been sort of like on TV and some from being like far away, but just being on the grounds here, it's a little bizarre. It's a little and you know what? I think it's also interesting because when you're on the grounds, like for example, with the Taylor Townsend thing, I was there, but you don't get the full context of everything. Like I was there in the crowd, but I didn't hear the conversation that Taylor had with, like Jelena Ostapenko had with Taylor Townsend. I was standing right by the ESPN interview and I could barely hear what she was saying. So it wasn't until hours later when I got home and then got on TV and then got on the internet and I was like, oh, this is all the drama. And then I watched Taylor Townsend's press conference after that. I found out all the details of the event. So it's so interesting the difference between when you're on site, on the ground as sort of like a spectator versus when you're at home watching on TV and you have access to the internet right away and you're sort of reacting to all of these things in real time.
Yeah, I don't think you would have been able to pick much up on the TV, to be fair. So
Mm.
the slight problem here is that all of these incidents that we're talking about happened when I was asleep. So I was trying to catch
Of
up and
course,
figure out
time
what's going
difference.
on. Yeah, exactly. So Medvedev, I woke up to finding out he incited a riot
Mm-hmm.
on and trying to work out what the heck happened. And I went back and watched it and was like, I don't understand how we got in this situation. Then the Ostapenko Townsend thing, I think I was going to sleep when it happened, and I think it was again most of the fallout happened afterwards because it became a press conference, social media war of words that kind of escalated, and then it's happened again yesterday with Stefanos Tsitsipas complaining about an underarm serve from Daniel Altmaier when he went out in 5 sets, and that was like, what is going on? And it does seem to be like the trend from all of these seems to be that Medvedev's a little bit different, but it's kind of a breaking of etiquette. Like two people are complaining about breaking etiquette and then being very undignified themselves in the way they're doing that. And then Daniel Medvedev kind of did both himself,
Yes.
and still lost.
Yeah, yeah. See, this is actually interesting because it'll be interesting to kind of get your takes on both things because I've always thought tennis has its unspoken etiquette that you just kind of learn over time. Apologizing for a net cord, kind of the rules of a warm up, just different things that, you know, over time you kind of learn as a fan, as a player and things like that. And I've always thought it's a bit precious because why are you apologizing for winning a point?
Mm.
Of course you want to win a point. You want to win the point. You're not like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I won the point." You know what I mean? So I've always thought that's been fascinating and I don't think it's necessary, especially when you're then asking the opponent to apologize for winning the point. I just think that's kind of odd. Um, and then the sort of I haven't even see. Here's the thing: I went to sleep. This is the first I'm hearing about the Tsitsipas Altmaier. I didn't even know there was a Tsitsipas Altmaier situation because I just, I woke up a few hours ago and now I'm podcasting and I haven't even heard about Tsitsipas and Altmaier. But there's this sort of like a conflict between tennis etiquette and especially the casual fan, because this usually happens when you come to the US Open. Because I've said this before, but the US Open is the home of the most casual fan. They
Mm.
don't follow tennis, most of the year. For 2 weeks out of the year, they're tennis fans. And then they go back to doing whatever they're doing, and US Open, they come back and they're tennis fans again. So they don't know about these tennis etiquette things. They just support all the American players, and that's what they do. So I don't know. What do you think about the reactions of either the fans or, first of all, I think Jelena Ostapenko, of all the people to be arguing about tennis etiquette, she probably should not have been the one to sort of stand on business on tennis
No,
etiquette.
no, really not. No, she has a reputation for behaving really poorly herself. Like, so there's a lot of different things going on here with like individuals and their personalities, but also with kind of, yeah, these kind of rules and etiquettes and the way kind of tennis works. And it all comes back to the fact that historically tennis was a gentleman's game. Like it was played by rich people back in the 1800s, and it only kind of filtered out to the masses over the course of the early sort of 20th century. So it's a little bit different. So it kind of comes back down to like these old rules of sportsmanship and gamesmanship, and how there's a certain way you're supposed to act. I think for some things it makes sense. For others, I don't understand the warm up thing. I genuinely don't. Like this in the specific instance with the Ostapenko and Taylor Townsend, and what Ostapenko was complaining about that Taylor allegedly did wrong. Because I think the way to think about it is when we're playing tennis, you and I, Anastasia, like
Mm-hmm.
on a tennis court.
Yeah.
I think there's certain things that you're supposed to behave even when whether you're an amateur or a pro. And for warm-ups, yeah, don't try and like smack balls at your opponent. Don't try and immediately go all guns blazing and try to quote win the warm-up. That's just makes you a bit of an a-hole. You don't want to like I
The
apologize for
match
net
hasn't
cords.
started.
Yeah, exactly. I apologize for net cords. I'm not bothered if my opponent doesn't. But also, I think the consequence of a net cord in an amateur game is probably a little bit more. It's a bigger deal compared to the pros, because the pros can work around it. They're quick enough to get to anything that kind of loses pace or goes a bit weird, and they can adjust. It's only when it kind of clips it and dribbles over the net. I think in that situation, you do have to apologize for winning the point, because you didn't do anything to win the point. You got lucky. And I think that in that situation, it makes sense. But they've kind of put this one size fits all, and if it just touches the net, you're expected to apologize when the point
Right.
goes your way. Yeah, so I got a little bit lucky there. But like I've seen plenty, you and I have seen plenty of pro rallies where that makes no difference. On an amateur court where you and I have played, like not each other, we've yet to play tennis against each other. But
One day.
one day I'm going to fly to New York. I'm going to make this happen. And although Anastasia will probably beat me love and love. Anyway, so
I don't know though. I don't know. I think you think I play better than I do, but I don't know.
I'm just used to losing all the time. So the problem we've got there is like when one of our balls hits a net cord, it's gonna die on the court,
Right.
pretty much. Like
Right.
9 times out of 10, we don't hit it as hard as the pros. So it is a lot more lucky for that. And so it's kind of one of those things that like, oh, it sets a good example for people who are going to go out and play tennis. And like the kind of standard etiquette that like when you're going out and playing tennis. But when you're on a pro court and it's your job and you can do this far better than most other tennis players, it doesn't matter as much. And I said, if my opponent didn't apologize for it, it wouldn't bother me. I'd be like, oh, okay, I can move past it. But Ostapenko just works in a way that in a perfect world, she wins all the time and will complain against anything that unfair, because like if something happens that means she can't win, it's not fair. That is the
Right.
attitude that she
Right.
puts across
Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah.
And I think we're talking specifically about that. And then the Tsitsipas thing, I don't know why the underarm serve bothered him. Like, it didn't bother him when Medvedev tried to say underarm serve against him down match point, and Tsitsipas smacked it away. This happened at Roland Garros, 4 or 5 years ago at this point. Like, why he was bothered by, in the fourth set, leading 2-1, Altmaier suddenly doing that is beyond me. And the underarm serve is the one I find the weirdest thing, is a lack of etiquette, because I don't think it's disrespectful to underarm serve. Like,
No.
it's actually a massive
No.
risk. It's really
Yeah.
like nothing in the rules about it.
No, it's just a different way of serving. It's not done regularly, but it's not against the rules. There's no rule
Yeah.
against underarm serving. I think, and I'll bring this to Medvedev because I will put Medvedev and Tsitsipas in the same box here a little bit. But I think what's happening is they're both at a part of their career where they don't have their games anymore and they're losing a lot and they're losing their games and they don't know how to find it or how to fix it, and they're resorting to disruption in Medvedev's case, and in Tsitsipas' case, irrational, being irrationally upset over something he should not be upset about. If he was winning, or as you say, if he had smashed that underarm serve away, he wouldn't have been upset. If he had hit
No.
that away for a winner, he wouldn't have been upset. But because he's losing a match, he's upset about an underarm serve. And because Medvedev is losing 2-0 and, basically Bonzi is serving out the match, he's upset that Bonzi is getting, you know, his first serve back because of a disruption in the match. Like that's what I think is happening with these two players. If they were leading, all of these things would not have been issues. And that is my problem with what is happening there. They are
Mm.
I really had no idea when I made that video about Lost Boys that I was so on the money. Like I really didn't,
Really
I
were.
just didn't. Yeah, I just didn't. I made it because I love that movie, first of all. I love the movie Lost Boys. And I just thought that they fit that genre and they fit that title. But I just thought, Anastasia, you're probably wrong, and watch them go win titles now throughout the end of the year. But I was so on the money and they're so lost. And I've just never, it's almost like they're so lost and they're so unwilling to change anything in their behavior to sort of fix it. Like Tsitsipas just goes back to his old ways. He goes back to his dad as his coach. He goes back to his old racket. He just keeps on keeping on, hoping for something different. And with Medvedev, it just is like, do something different. Like, I'm sure you can. Like, he's a Grand Slam champion. Like, how can you not do anything different? But I don't know. Maybe I'm expecting too much, but I don't know. What do you think?
I think it's difficult because fundamentally, I think there's slightly different situations. Like most of these players we're talking about that are the Lost Boys are people who could challenge but never quite seemed as like able to reach the pinnacle of the mountain in the same way as the guys they were trying to compete with. And we're talking Rafa, Novak, Carlos, and Yannick. And Medvedev is different because he used to be able to, and then something
Yeah.
happened that meant he couldn't anymore. And the thing is with Medvedev, he plays a certain way. He plays a much more endurance based kind of consistent style rather than anything aggressive. He can do aggressive. He did it for 2 sets against Yannick Sinner in Australia, but I don't know if he has it in him to sustain that, which is why he plays the
Mm,
way that he does. Like a lot of the reason players play the way they do is down to choices they made when they were younger, like kids, and
yeah.
what they felt they could and couldn't do. And so a lot of it's going to be kind of ingrained. And some of it's an attitude problem as well, not just in terms of like good attitude, bad attitude, like not necessarily going that level of like how you would treat a child. With if we think about sort of again going back to these situations, what ultimately is the cause of them is these players are so tightly wound up with nervous energy all the time to try and win a match because yeah, okay, it doesn't matter if you're top 10 or top 20 and you win over half the matches you compete in. You still want to go out and win. You still have that nervous energy and if something happens to offset you, that's when these explosions happen and that's when we get drama. And I think they aren't necessarily handling the people who don't do that aren't necessarily handling it that well. And I think it's kind of a mix of different things going on there with them. I think Medvedev might be also his service isn't as good as it was since he had that operation a couple of years ago.
Mm,
Something happened there, whereas just Tsitsipas is just insisting that he's good enough to play based on the game he's always played, even though historically he can't do that off clay unless he changes his racket. And I don't understand why he's not kept that new racket they got in Dubai because he was great. It's all a very complicated situation with all that. I am going to obviously keep us back on this topic if you want to keep talking about it. But like, I was thinking about someone who generally manages that sort of thing quite well is Coco Gauff, but she's kind of even though she's managing to lose it and still win. Like, she was really struggling in her match last night to hold back tears throughout the match, and then afterwards she collapsed. But like, she is getting wound up and like super tight, and she does what she does and she wins because she's one of the best in the world at winning when she's not playing well, no matter
Yeah.
what her stance is. That's a complicated situation that we can untangle in a different conversation, but I wanted to throw that out there as a good example who does handle it well.
Exactly. And that is, see, that there is problem solving, where it's like you have an issue with your game, something's going wrong, but you're working to fix it. And even in the distress, even in the problem, you're sort of, you're not giving up and you're working hard to make sure that, you're still winning, you're still fighting versus, you know, because I talked about this a little bit in that video where it's like instead of Medvedev working on his game and trying to win matches based on, trying to work out how do I become more aggressive or how do I fix my serve or whatever it is, it's for him disruption and riling up the crowd and, distract, that sort of thing. And here's Coco, the opposite, working on her serve, working on, she already is super athletic and she's like, okay, if I can't win with my serve, I'm going to win with my speed. I'm going to win
Mm.
with my ground strokes. And you see that in her last two matches where she was super distressed. She was super upset, but she still won those matches. And you have such a great point. Those are the contrasts. Like, that's the contrast right there. And I've been super impressed with what she's doing. Like, it's been a difficult watch. Like, I've really felt for her because Ash is a big stadium. Ash is massive. And to be there because she sells out. So to be there with a sold out crowd just staring at you, yeah, that's tough. But she's winning, which is good. Which is good.
Yeah, she's winning and she's getting it done, and yeah, she wins when she's not doing great, and she's done that her whole career. Like, and as you're saying, she's working her game. So for those of you who don't know, I don't think we've discussed. Have we discussed this on a pod? I don't think it's been mentioned in anything that we've put out that Coco's now hired the guy who kind of helped Sabalenka fix her serve because she was having the same problem.
Right, right, right.
Biomechanics expert. When someone says a word like biomechanics, my brain immediately does either like sees science symbols or tunes out. So, like, I don't fully understand what exactly he's doing. I think only people who like know maybe like how the human body works could probably explain it. Whereas, I don't know how I get up in the mornings. So the
Um, didn't Jack interview him?
yeah, so on the line, yeah, Jack
Yes.
Edward on the Line podcast interviewed
I'm
him.
gonna link that.
After,
I'll put that in the description.
it's like 2 years old, that interview, because
Yeah.
um, it was from when she won in Australia, and Jack talked to him and spoke to him about it. And yeah, it was a really, really good interview where I try and understand sort of what he does, Gavin McMillan, and he's working with Coco. And unfortunately, he's not going to fix it overnight. That's the thing. Um,
Yeah.
and it's not going to suddenly go like you could hope maybe that over the course of the US Open she gets more comfortable with some of the things she's trying to do. But when you try and fix your game in the middle of a tournament, you're going to become more vulnerable, and you're kind of living out your frustrations with changing something in real time in front of everyone. And I think I'm hearing a lot that Coco is actually um, she's hitting her serves well in practice, but she's not hitting her serves well when it actually comes to a match situation. That comes back to what I was talking about earlier with nervous energy and being wound up. It does change how you approach it. Like, even as someone who, again, plays tennis casually, I play way better when there isn't points on the line compared to where there is, because I want to win and I'm focused on trying to win. Whereas in practice, I'm trying to just focus on hitting the ball well. And I don't think it's any different for a pro, especially for a pro, because there's so many minute things in there that could go wrong or go right and just change how things work. So with Coco, yeah, you might not see fruits of these changes she's trying to make yet, and she's got to work through that. And it's just tough for her that she's trying to work through it on Arthur Ashe in front
Yeah.
of however many thousand people it's on there. Like, that is the worst possible timing, really. But good on
Yeah.
her for doing it.
Yeah, no, totally. It's been just endlessly sort of impressed by her and what she's doing. Just to jump through, because you have a lot of great points here that I actually kind of want to get to, and we don't want to do our thing where we make this a 2 hour long podcast. But I've seen you put here
No,
Priscilla Hahn and Joame Munar, and I totally want to hit on
yeah,
them too, because and I also kind of want to add Coleman Wong to this as well. Like, just talk
yeah.
about them in a trio, because I finally got to catch Drame Munar's match yesterday, but I keep missing Priscilla Hahn and Coleman Wong, because here's a phenomenon of being at a tournament in person. When you're at home, you can multi-screen, you can have all your, 5 screens up, you catch all the matches, it's great. When you're at a tournament, you can't do that. You can't be in 5 places at the same time. And you can't run back and forth, because then you'll never watch a match. If you're running back and forth from court to court to court, you're never going to watch a match. So I haven't been able to catch Coleman Wong or Priscilla Hahn, and I finally last night got to watch a bit of Joami Munar. But these are 3 players that are doing really, really well at the US Open. Joame Munar, I'll start with him. And I'll let you know. I want to also know what you think, because he's had a really great season, a very sneaky great season. And I almost want to know where it came from. I got to talk to him at the City Open, and I really want to break out that interview from our Substack and post it somewhere. Maybe I'll even leave a clip in this podcast. Ooh, maybe I'll do that. But it's like he started in Dallas and just has had great result after great result after great result. And yesterday he beat Gabriel Diallo in 3 sets, like in straight sets. And this is hard court. Jaume Munar is from Spain, so everyone will probably think, oh, he's a clay dog. He likes a slow court. But on a hard court with a big server, he beat Gabriel Diallo in straight sets. And I thought that was pretty impressive.
Yeah, Jaume Munar has. I think since you drew attention to him, actually, earlier in the year when we were doing the podcast, like I've been watching him, and like, yeah, he's been having such a good season, and for him anyway, like he's always been kind of there or thereabouts in the top 100, but he's catching the eye a little bit more than he used to be. He's getting great results on all 3 surfaces, because he did okay at Wimbledon as well on the grass, and
Mm-hmm.
and now he's here in the US hard courts, and yeah, he's stepping up, and he's really trying to prove himself. Like, I remember seeing him, like, yeah, kind of grind away on clay, or kind of be blown away on a grass court, and well, not blown away, but like try compete, keep up on a grass court, and it not work out. And to see him kind of in the mix a little bit more and get a bit further in these Grand Slams than he has been doing is really, really positive for him. And I don't think we've made him a player of the fortnight yet this season, have we? Not that I
I don't
remember.
think so. Let me look it up, because now we're organized and we actually keep track. We have not. We have not made him a player of the fortnight.
He's
It's
someone we
coming.
might need to think about that at some point, or if not, we're going to have
Yeah.
to put him in the Player of the Year running, even if he never
Yeah.
outright wins one, because he's in the mix every week for every fortnight for that title of Player of the Fortnight, and yeah, week in week out, he's doing good things. So yeah, maybe this is the fortnight, maybe Asian Swing will be, who knows? But he's definitely one of the stories to go watch, and like go watch him on a ground pass. Like he's now proving himself to be great ground pass worthy, check this guy out, he's going to give you a good match kind of thing. Similar thing with Priscilla Hon, who I put on because like I was looking through going, okay, well, let's see if we can find some ground pass names to talk about who are now in the third round. And Priscilla Hon is someone that you've mentioned a couple of times. So you must be pretty thrilled to see her in the third round.
And she came from qualifying. So
Yeah.
I watched her last qualifying match and I thought, wow, she made it. And she's also been the reason why I didn't put her in the qualifiers to watch for the US Open was because we put her in the qualifiers to watch for Wimbledon. So I kind of want to
Mm.
always highlight new people. And actually, you have a name in here that we'll talk about in a few that was in our qualifiers to watch for the US Open. But Priscilla Hahn was our qualifiers to watch for Wimbledon. Here she is. She qualified for the US Open. And now she's in the third round of the US Open. And I don't want to jinx it, but I think she has a pretty good third round match, to kind of make it further. But it's been really nice. I haven't again been able to catch her live, like to watch one of her matches, because I've always been somewhere else. But I'm definitely going to be watching her third round match. I am definitely going to be out there watching her third round match for sure.
Yeah, I think that's going to be one to catch. Who is she playing?
I was just pulling it up here because I
We
was
both
like,
knew it was good. I think we're both in the same situation of like going, yeah, we know it's a good person, but we can't exactly remember who it was.
yeah, because it's so funny because I literally pulled it up this morning because I was like, wait a second, Priscilla Hahn made it. And then I was like,
It's
wait,
Anne
who's she
Lee.
playing? Huh?
Anne Lee.
You know,
We are going to
I
have an
do love
unseeded player in round 4.
I do love Anne Lee, but I think Priscilla Hahn could do something. I think she could do something, guys.
Although Anne Lee's been doing all right because she got to the final in
Yes.
Cleveland
Yeah.
last week.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh,
Yeah.
that could be a really good third round. And that's definitely going to be on a ground somewhere. That is going to be on like a court 17 grandstand because basically this weekend is the last weekend that singles players are going to be playing on court 17 grandstand. Starting next week, everything's going to be on Louis Armstrong or Ash. And then the outside courts will be taken over by doubles, wheelchair, and juniors. So, note to everyone who's going to be showing up on the grounds next week. That's what you should be expecting. And then a third round match that I'm super excited for. Well, I'm going to leave you to talk about that match, but someone that I haven't watched yet that I really want to watch and that you had on the list too, Coleman Wong. I really want to watch
Oh, I really
Coleman
want to talk
Wong.
about Common Wong.
Yeah.
Like he's been one of the stories this year was obviously he's one of the lowest ranked players left in the men's side, and he's climbing up. And like this tournament's really, helping him get inside the top 150. He's got Andrei Rublev next, but he's played so well. Like he's come through really calmly. He beat Adam Walton in 4 sets yesterday. Was not fazed by Walton winning that third set. For me, I think what's exciting about Coleman Wong is I just know how much of a big deal he is to Asian audiences, like particularly those from Hong Kong. So I've got a really good friend of mine who is from Hong Kong, who sort of I know and meet up with, and I'm slowly getting into tennis. But he, for the first time ever, asked me, "Can we please watch the Coleman Wong match? Like, can I watch the Coleman watch match at your house?" And he's never wanted to do that before, and like he is just blown away. As someone from Hong Kong, which like if you don't know much, or like you probably do, Hong Kong is literally just a city. It's kind of its own little like the cut-off city. Like once you leave the city of Hong Kong, you are out of Hong Kong. It's only like a few million people who live there, and somehow out of those, they produce a tennis player who is good enough to reach the third round of a Grand Slam. Like he's in the top 200 in the world, looking set to get top 100, maybe getting to now in one of the elite 32 players in a Grand Slam. Like the odds of a country that small producing someone that good is pretty tall. And it's just generating so much excitement. Like everyone in Hong Kong is talking about Coleman Wong, and I love a breakout story in the same way as with Alex Ayala in the Philippines. So or Janice Chen from Indonesia, who also came through qualifying in the women's. So yeah, Coleman is for me one of the best stories in terms of where he's come from and the fans that he's winning over, as much as his tennis. Because I've also watched him, and he's really good. Like he's really smooth with his strokes, and it feels like once he gets going, he's very hard to deal with if you're the opponent. So I'm super excited by Coleman Wong for those reasons. Why are you excited about Coleman, Anastasia?
He's just a lot of fun. Like, I loved your story there about like your friend now just being interested and following him. And I love stories like that because, that's how tennis grows, It's like he wasn't interested in tennis before, and now he has a player he can follow and sort of follow the growth and rise. And that's always your in. You get that one player and you start following them, and then you're like, oh, wait, there's this other player. Oh, and then there's that other player. And then you just, you grow your fandom of the sport. The thing about Coleman Wong, though, is he has a ton of fans in Flushing, Queens. A ton. I remember, well, who was he playing? He was playing Brandon Nakashima. What was that? His first round? I think he was playing Brandon Nakashima his first round, if I'm correct. Let me just
No, I
look that.
might not be here. Nakashima just lost, but it wasn't to Wong. It was
Yeah, who was
to
he playing? I think he
Kim,
was,
Ren Kim, I think.
yeah, he was playing an American in his first round. And
Yeah,
I'm trying to.
Kovacevic.
Kovacevic. Was it Kovacevic in his first round?
I
Yeah?
think it was.
Yeah.
You're right. It was an American. And we said, oh yeah, no, it's Kovacevic.
Okay, great. He was playing Kovacevic in his first round, and a friend of mine was kind of like, "Oh, that's a shame because, you know, Kovacevic is going to get all of the support because it's, an American playing against someone from Hong Kong. That's going to be really tough for Coleman." And I thought, oh, you don't know Flushing. You don't know Flushing, Queens. Flushing, Queens is kind of like the second Chinatown. And there are a lot of people here from Hong Kong in Flushing. And for his qualifying matches, only second to Bernard Tomic, were packed. Like, just absolutely packed with his fans. He had so many fans here. And he's had a lot of support, and it's been great to see. So I really can't wait to actually watch him play with Rublev. That's going to be a tough round because Rublev has also been looking really, really good, but it's nice to see him get this far in at the US Open, coming through qualifying, getting all the way to the third round. So good on him. And at least it gives me the chance to see him in the main draw because I haven't been able to catch one of his matches in the main draw. And I'm going to. I'm going to do it, which is great. Who else are
How
we talking
big a
about?
court they're going to put him on? Because he's playing Rublev.
Oh, with Rublev, grandstand of Louis Armstrong for sure. For sure. Yeah, for sure. Who else do we got? Let me see.
Yeah, I like. There's actually covered a lot of these names,
Oh,
so
wait.
I'll let you kind of
What is
choose.
this one you have here? Novak coming for our faves.
Well, yeah, because he beat Le Tien and Zachary Svider,
How dare
who
he? Oh, I
we've
remember this.
obviously
Oh,
picked up on the
yes.
podcast. So yeah, it's
Yes.
basically if you're a ground passer and you've been telling us all about the players, they still don't quite match up to Novak Djokovic, or either that, or Novak Djokovic is still trying to prove he's still trying to prove something against these young upstarts who keep coming through. So yeah, he's kind
Yeah.
of
You know what I learned
swatting them away
though?
at the moment.
Yeah, I think what I learned really is Novak definitely still has that aura. That sort of I am Novak Djokovic because in both matches, you know, I'm so sorry, but Djokovic looked just gone. He looked very, very bad. But I think in the first match with Lunartien, I was very disappointed with the way Lunartien played. I have seen him play way better, like levels better than he played. And I also then think that was nerves playing on Ash at night, lights, camera, action. So there was that part of it. And Svida definitely, in the first set, I think Svida definitely, accounted for himself and played very, very well in the first set, but then it just got too much. And how many times have we seen that sort of pressure lead to cramping? And it was the thing. It was the pressure of the moment and everything. And all of a sudden, you're cramping and you're needing the pickle juice. And it was like, wow, here we are again. Carlos Alcaraz 2020, 20, what was that? 24, 23, 23. Yeah. So Djokovic just still has that aura. I will actually be really interested to see his match against Cam Norrie because I don't know. I think people knew this, but Cam Nori is a trickster. I just didn't realize that. I just didn't. And I've watched him live before, but I just don't know why I didn't clock it until I saw him recently at the City Open. You know, I think it's maybe too much, but he's literally giving Laura Siegmund vibes.
Okay, that's a comparison.
But I also just recently watched Laura Siegmund and her service motion. I was just like, oh no, Laura, Laura,
Why?
Laura. She does like the 1-2 step across the baseline. Then she like does the dip. Then she pauses. Like she like stops. Then she does the toss. I mean, it is a whole thing. And I'm like, Laura, clock is ticking. This match could be 30 minutes shorter, but she
I
won the
don't understand
match.
why she wants longer matches at her age.
It's, you know what, I think, but here's the thing, it riles up the opponent. Like she was playing
Mm.
Diana Schneider, and Diana Schneider was losing her mind. She was trying not to. You could see like she was trying to internalize it and trying to just like stay calm, stay calm. You could almost hear her say that to herself. She was like, stay calm, stay calm. But it was getting to her, and she lost the match. So she's doing it for a reason. She's doing it for a reason.
Oh, right.
Okay, so let's see. We're almost getting to the hour long, mark here. Do you want to just talk about the third round matches we're excited for?
Yeah, I think we should do that.
Okay. Okay, cool.
So, I mean, you're the one who's, I think, obviously, I've picked a few out for me. So, obviously, you could have had the same as me as you want, but it looks like we've gone something for something different.
Yeah, I tried to I saw
Mm.
yours first, so I kind of went a little bit different from you just to because there's so many matches
Mix
too.
it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, the third round at this US Open is just so good for so many different reasons in
Mhm.
like both draws and the doubles as well. Like, I'm struggling to keep up with all the doubles as well because that's
Yeah.
just super
So
cool,
many.
especially with now Venus and Layla playing.
Okay. Okay. Let's take a moment. We have to talk about Venus and Layla. Just one moment. We have to talk about Venus and Layla. I had tickets to Louis Armstrong yesterday. Um I so the first two matches went super quick. Musetti is looking really good. Musetti is looking really, really good. And so that went really quick. Osaka, I really did expect a 3-set match with Haley Baptiste. It was not. That went really, really quick. And that was another straight set. So the day session went really quick. And that's been happening recently a lot this year. So they added a match to Louis Armstrong. And it was Venus Williams and Leylah Fernandez's doubles. And I thought, yay, this is so great. And it was against Kitchenok and Perez, Ellen Perez. They're the 6th seed. So I thought, okay, this is going to be a really tough match. It started off and it was not looking great. Like Venus and Fernandez were losing. It wasn't looking great. And I was like, okay, well, you know, at least we get to watch Venus for one more time and Leylah Fernandez, and this is fine. Then they start warming up to it. Like the partnership between Leylah Fernandez and Venus Williams. They start warming up to that partnership. And my goodness, did I forget that Leylah Fernandez is a doubles player. She is fantastic at the net. I was blown away by Leylah Fernandez. Like Venus Williams is great. It's incredible to see her playing right now and what she's doing, and her serve is still elite. But Leylah Fernandez was the clutch player in that team. Like she really, and I think actually, I was talking to Will Buchek about this actually, because I think Perez and Kitchenok came into that match thinking that their game plan was going to be to target Fernandez. And because I noticed that, especially when Fernandez was at the baseline, it was just target her. It was just her, her, her. But she didn't miss. Like she never missed in those rallies. And I think they switched their plan to targeting Venus too late. Like they didn't do that until the second set and they just lost the match. So the first set went all the way like Venus and Fernandez, they were down a break, or was it 2 or 1 break? I can't remember. But they were down in the first set. They got it back to a tie break. They won the tie break, and then they got an early break in the second and never looked back, and then just won. And it was so good. They make such a great team. Like, that was a fun team. One to watch. If you're on the grounds, go watch them because they're going to put them on the grounds. It's a doubles match. They're going to put them on the grounds. So, yeah.
Yeah. For now, until the crowds get too big or they need to fill up day sessions on Ash.
Yeah, until they need to fill up day sessions in Ash.
Yeah. Like, treat them to Venus Williams. The crowd's going to stay for that.
Yeah.
Well, while we're all talking about Fernandez, you have her on one of your matches to watch. So do you want to work through yours?
Yes. So the reason I picked this, I picked Sabalenka and Fernandez as one of my third round matches to watch, only because it's a throwback, guys. Remember when Fernandez beat Sabalenka on her way to the finals of the US
Oh,
Open? And I was
I
there.
do,
I
yeah.
watched her. Yeah, I watched her beat Sabalenka that year. So I want to see it again because it's going to be different. Sabalenka is not the same player, obviously, but I want to see that matchup again. So that's definitely one of my third round matches to watch. Arena Sabalenka versus Lila Fernandez. I'm pretty sure that it's definitely going to be on Ash. I feel like last year that was probably a match that they would have put on Louis Armstrong, but I think Sabalenka is too big of a star right now that is not, that's going to be on Ash guaranteed. So, yeah.
I'm pretty sure that's night session, Ash.
Yeah, probably. Probably.
Like, looking at the schedule, I think that's happening
Oh, is it?
today.
Oh, it's already scheduled? Oh, is that today?
Yeah. Yeah, it's
Oh,
today
that's
at 7
today.
p.m. Either
Well, there
it
you
might be
go.
Armstrong actually, 'cause it's the same time as Djokovic Norrie. Hang on, let me have a look.
Wait, 1 second. Oh, wait a second. Is it on Armstrong? Stop.
It's on Armstrong at night, 7 p.m. Opens Armstrong at night.
See? And here's a tip for you. Because I put this on stories, which, by the way, if you follow us on Instagram, all the sort of tips or questions like Q&As that I answer based on a tournament, I put them in a highlight on our homepage. So if you go to the Ground Pass Instagram homepage and you just look at what tournament, you can click on it and see all the answers I've put there. But people didn't realize this. If you have a ground pass or a day pass to Louis Armstrong or any day pass, you can go to Louis night session. You just go up top
Nice.
to the general admission section until it fills up, and it's like, if it fills up and it's like at capacity, obviously they'll just stop letting people in, but you can go up there and stay for the night session. Because I did this the other day where it was for Naomi's first match and I had a day session ticket, but I just stayed for the night session because I wanted to see Naomi's dress and what she was wearing for the night session. And I put it on our Instagram and I got so many replies saying, I didn't know you could do that, or I didn't realize I would have stayed, and all that stuff. So just PSA, you can do that. You can do that in Louis Armstrong. So if you have a day session today and you
Awesome.
want to see Sabalenka and Leila Fernandez, you can stay and do that.
You
Your
might
ticket.
find it hard to
So
pick
if
one
you
of the
pay a
other
lot of
ones that you
money, you
picked.
can. Huh?
Oh, sorry, I didn't realize you were still. I had a gap, so
No,
I
no. I
didn't
was.
hear you.
I was just gonna say, if you pay a lot of money for daytime tickets, you can sort of like get your bang for your buck and just stay all day.
I mean, it's a good value for money in that situation if you want to stay all day. Like
Yeah.
literally all day. It's a lot, but you can do it. I was going to say one of the other ones you picked. I've just checked the schedule, and that is second on Ash after Novak against Cameron Norrie, and that is Townsend versus Andreeva. They put it on Ash.
They did put it on Ash. That one. So that's gonna be a really interesting match. Townsend obviously right now is, you know, she's massive. So many people are going to be at that match for her. Because of the whole situation with Jelena Ostapenko, she's going to get a huge amount of support. And then Mira Andreeva is sort of coming back from injury. Like, she didn't really do great at Wimbledon, but she's looking so good. Her first two matches at the US Open, she like dismissed her opponents. She's just like, she's back in that sort of top 10 mode of just like being a top player. So you would think she would still be in that mode for this match. But then I get memories of Louis Boisson at Roland Garros when the crowd was cheering for Louis Boisson. And it drove Mira Andreeva crazy. So I don't know how she's going to handle it. Here's the thing, Mira learns from her past matches. She's a really good learner. So I just wonder if she's learned from that French Open experience and will do better here. But I can tell you, every human in that Ash Stadium is going to be cheering for Taylor Townsend, and no one's going to be cheering for Mira. And I wonder how she's going to handle that.
Yeah, no, you reminded me of Boisson. I was like, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, that's going to be the big test. But as you say, Mira's a quick learner, so I'm not necessarily going to rule her out of doing something. But yeah, you're right. I think that match, she's going to have to play the crowd as well as Taylor, and Taylor's going to love having the crowd on her side, and she's going to be pumped
Mm-hmm.
up. So,
Mm-hmm.
and I think it'll be a fun match as well because they both like to throw some tricky shots in there and
Yeah.
be a bit inventive. So they've both got really good tennis IQs. I think it's going to be a smart match from both players. And then your last one, Musetti Caboli. That's going to be fun. I almost picked that one.
It's kind of like just the Italian duo. Like that's just, yeah. Grab a cappuccino and find yourself on that court, wherever that is.
Is
That just
cappuccino your
sounds
favorite coffee?
fun. Huh? Not really. I do like a good cappuccino if it's good. It has to be good cappuccino. It can't be sort of like crappy cappuccino. But no, that just I literally saw it and I was like, wait, Lorenzo Musetti is playing Flavio Caboli. Come on. Like that is just tantalizing, fun. Like I hope they're just being the most Italian that they can ever be, just playing tennis. Like that's all I want is that they're the most Italian that they can ever be on a court. And I really hope they put that somewhere on the grounds. Like, because that match could possibly still be on a court 17. If they put that on court 17, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to lose my mind because that is like the most. Is that, no, that's tomorrow. Yes, that's going to be tomorrow. Um, but I'm going to lose my mind if they put that on court 17 because I actually think that would be the perfect setting for a match like that.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. We'll see. I think that would be ideal. I think you've got to give the ground passes something to look forward to,
Yeah.
especially since they're running out of places to put the singles matches. Although we could have picked some doubles matches, I guess. It's just difficult to know where we are in the schedule with that. I'm going to do mine quick fire. Rebecca Raducanu. That's first on Louis Armstrong today.
I'll be there.
Let's see. Yeah, you're going to go see that. I want you to tell me exactly what you think of that match because I'm going to be watching it. I'm interested to see what this version of Emma Raducanu can do to Jelena Ostapenko. If she can push Sabalenka, Ostapenko might be doable, but Ostapenko's kind of getting herself into a rhythm as well. So, I think that's probably the main heavyweight clash that we're going to get from the women's singles. I'm going to watch Coleman Wong against Andre Rublev because I know my friend is going to be asking to watch that match. So I'm hoping it's at a time we can see it tomorrow. I don't know when it's going to be, but I'm looking forward. And I think also I put this in there because I was looking we've had a lot of upsets so far. Like a lot of the Lost Boys have gone out, usually in 5-setters. Coleman Wong could be that. I think Coleman Wong is the kind of player who could take out a seed like Andre Rublev.
Yeah.
He's there for the taking, I think. So upset alert there. And then my last one is Alcaraz against Iga Swiatek because Iga's kind of seems to be in Wimbledon mode still, but Kalinskaya is been getting some really good results on US hard courts. Like she got to the final in Washington, quarterfinals in Cincinnati. So she's loving playing on American hard courts right now. And although Iga beat her in Cincinnati, I don't think necessarily it's going to be easy for Iga to win again. So I think in terms of the most informed players over the last month who are playing, this is the clash between a couple of them that's going to happen. So I think that could be quite interesting how that works out. That's my quick fire 3 matches to watch. And that's tomorrow as well. So hopefully I can watch some tennis tomorrow. That'd be fun.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because it's the weekend and then you don't have to worry too much about time zone stuff for sure. But yeah, so that's pretty much been a roundup of round 1 and 2. We'll be back. We'll probably do 3 and 4. Round of 16?
Yeah.
No? Will that be also in the same time slot? I really don't know what time is right now.
Well, yeah, we'll talk about it, but yeah, we can talk about it in a minute. But yeah, we are planning on doing a round 3 and 4. I'm sure there'll be stuff that happens in round 3 that want to catch you up on during the tournament as well.
Yeah, in between. But definitely pay attention to your social media because that's where I kind of give like, things as they happen, especially if I'm on the grounds. I don't know. I probably will not be on the grounds as much during the second week. I think I'm going to be like the first week and then the second week TBD on if we'll be doing any screenings. I'm trying to work out some stuff for the second week, but I think the second week will be mostly screenings and watching from home for me. A couple of things, reminders that I want to drop for you guys is we have merch now. It is out. People are buying it, which is thank you. Thank you guys
Thank you
so
so much.
much for buying our merch. It's been really really great. It is available. I will leave the links in the description of this podcast if you're watching it on a podcast player of your choice. Also on YouTube, you can click on the link and buy it. Depending on when you're watching this, the founders discount will be over on the 30th. 11:59 Eastern is when the founders discount will be over, which is like $5 off the prices. What else do you need to know about that? That's pretty much it. It's hats and t-shirts, and yeah, it's a limited edition, so once they're gone, they're gone, unless there's some sort of like weird crazy demand. But once they're gone, they're gone. And thank you so much for all of that. Like, subscribe, do all the good things. Thank you so much to everyone who always sees me at these tournaments and comes over and says hello. It means the world to me because it just keeps me going and it makes me happy. So thank you. Anything else, Nick?
No, I think we're all good. Yeah, thank you everyone. Like, you make this podcast, like, just help make this podcast amazing. And I like seeing Anastasia happy. So thanks for doing that.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, thank you guys, and we will see you in a week. Or, if the drama continues, you'll probably see me tomorrow because US Open 2025 keeps giving. Bye, guys.